Hello everyone, welcome to ITLS Academy. This is your mentor Dr. Shamaita Basu, and in this session we will be starting with the next topic of forensic techniques, that is introduction to forensic document examination. So this is the first session of this topic. Okay. So now what do you mean by forensic document examination? Now whatever documents you will get as a means of forensic examination, how will you examine those documents? Okay, so firstly beginning with, what can be the question documents that you need to examine, okay, or analyze? So it will involve the examination of handwriting, ink, paper to ascertain source or authenticity. So handwriting will be a big issue, or will be a big part of forensic document examination. So in this session I will be mainly focusing on handwriting, okay, and in the next session I will be talking about the other different aspects of forensic document examination. Okay, so now as far as handwriting analysis or handwriting examination is concerned, what are the different documents that we need to examine? The letters, the checks, the licenses, the contracts, the wills, the passports, because these are all those official documents where handwriting forgery can occur, or handwriting faking can occur. And so the investigations will include various steps like verification, authentication, characterizing the papers, the pigments and the inks, what kind of pen or pencil was used, what kind of paper was used, what kind of ink was used. So I will also be talking about the different kinds of papers and inks also. Okay. Now, talking about related fields of forensic document examination. So, first will be historical dating, which involves the verification of age and value of a document or object. Means, say for example, you have caught hold of a passport, how much old it is, okay, or what is the value of that passport. These are the things that you need to think of as far as historical dating is concerned. Second will be fraud investigation, obviously a very important part of forensic document examination, which will focus on the money trail and criminal intent. Means why the criminal at all forged it, why the criminal at all mimicked or imitated that particular document. Okay. Third will be paper and ink specialists. Okay, so they will be seeing the date, type, source, the catalog, various types of paper, watermarks, ink, printing or copy fax machines, computer cartridges, etc. They will be dealing with that. Fourth will be forgery specialists. Okay, now whenever we are talking about forgery specialists, the main thing that is forged a lot is the currency. Counterfeit forging, they call it as. Okay, so they will be analyzing the altered, obliterated, changed, or doctored documents and photos. Next will be typewriting analysts. They will be analyzing the typewriter forgery. Okay, so they will be determining the origin, make, and models. Now, here I want to just mention, typewriter is something which has become obsolete. It is no longer in use. Okay, it has almost become obsolete. You will see very few places in India, in the backward or the interior areas of cities or towns, where they use typewriters till now. Okay, it's almost become obsolete. No one, no thief or no burglary idea generator will go and do his or her forgery using a typewriter. Okay, so that is something obsolete, so I will not be talking about typewriter analysis in details. Next, what we have is computer crime investigators, which is a very important aspect nowadays, because cyber crime is at its highest nowadays. Okay, and cyber crime itself has different various branches of crimes. Okay, so they will be investigating the different fields of cyber crimes. Okay, now coming to the main part of handwriting analysis, as I was talking about, that I will be mainly focusing on uh, handwriting analysis. Okay, so basically this slide will focus on the history of forensic handwriting analysis. Okay, so as I always say, that whenever we are starting or we are talking about a particular topic, it's very important that we know a bit of history of that topic. Okay, so handwriting analysis, as we can see, date backs to the 1930s. Okay, so firstly, beginning with the 1930s, handwriting analysis played a role in the famous Lindbergh case. Then in the year 1999, almost 69 years later, the US Court of Appeals determined that handwriting analysis qualifies as a form of expert testimony. To be admissible in court, scientifically accepted guidelines must be followed. Scotland Yard, the FBI, and the Secret Service use handwriting analysis. Okay, now coming to document examination. So, forensic document examination will involve what all? It will involve the analysis and comparison of questioned documents with known material in order to identify, whenever possible, the author or origin of the questioned document. So, talking about handwriting analysis, as I mentioned, because in this session I will be mainly focusing on handwriting analysis. So, it involves two phases. What are they? Number one, the hardware, means what ink, what kind of paper, what kind of pen, what kind of pencil, what kind of typewriter, what kind of printer is used. And second will be visual examination of the writing. Okay. Now, when we are talking about visual examination of the handwriting, there are 12 characteristics that we need to uh, take care of. Okay. What are the 12 characteristics? Number one, line quality. So line quality means whether the letters are erratic or shaky, means whether the handwriting of that person is steady or weak. Okay, because that will determine various factors, whether it's a child criminal, or whether it's an elderly criminal, whether it's illiterate criminal, or whether it's a literate criminal. All these factors can be somehow determined by studying whether the letters are erratic or shaky. Second will be word and letter spacing. How much spacing or how much crowded each of the letters of a particular word are. Okay. Because it's said, it's in the saying that by handwriting analysis we can make out a lot about the character of that person. Okay, how that person is mentally, what is the mental setup, what is the mental upbringing, what is the mental mindset of that person, these what are the personality of that person. These are the few factors that can be somehow made out by handwriting analysis. Okay. Third will be size consistency. So it will be comparing the ratio of height to width. Okay, how the letters are arranged with respect to each other. Fourth will be continuous, whether the pen or whether the handwriting is totally continuous, or whether beach mein the pen has been lifted. Okay, means whether it's a joint handwriting or not. Fifth will be connecting letters. Are capitals and lowercase letters connected and continuous? Okay, again the same thing somewhat, whether it's a joint handwriting or not. Sixth will be letters complete. So that is, are the letters fully written or partially written? Okay, means any kind of abbreviation is used or not. Seventh characteristic that we need to study is the cursive, printed, or both. Okay, whether it's a cursive handwriting or a printed one. Eighth will be pen pressure, whether the pen pressure is equal throughout the writing, or specifically several strokes are pressurized in comparison to other strokes. Ninth will be slant. How is the slant of the handwriting? Left, right, variable, or there is no slant? Okay, slant means what kind of bending it is. It's bended towards the right hand side or the left hand side, or is totally upright. That is the slant. Tenth will be line habits. Above line, below line, on line. Okay, it's a now this thing will be applicable only if the handwriting is written on a ruled paper. If it's written on a blank, then also somehow we can make it out, but it will be easier to make it out if it's a ruled paper. So then we can easily make out whether the line has been crossed, or it's written above the line or below the line or on the line. uh, Flourishes or embellishments, fancy curls, if there are not, because many people have a tendency of writing in the pattern of printed versions. Okay, so whether there is that pattern is present or not, whether it's a simple handwriting or it is having those fancy curls. And the last characteristic that we need to know is diacritic placement, means correct, misplaced, crossed towards bottom or not, whether dots are present, dotted to the right, left, or centered. These are the things which will come under diacritic placement. Okay. Okay, now coming to an important concept of comparing handwriting. Okay, now how will you compare handwriting? Okay, maybe handwriting, because in many cases what happens, depending on the paper, depending on the type of ink, even depending on the type of pen that you are using, a same person can show two types of handwriting, two different types of handwriting on two different pages. Okay, just example I've given over here. See, it's a note and it's a letter. So depending on the paper, depending on the situation in which you are writing, what kind of ink you are using, whether you were using a pen or a pencil, These are the some of the factors which will determine the handwriting analysis. Okay, and as far as comparing handwriting is concerned, what are the features or what are the factors that we need to keep in mind? Firstly, the overall form. So overall form mein what all will come? Size, shape, slant, proportion, and beginning and ending strokes of the letters. Next is line features. There what will come? Writing speed, fluidity, pen pressure, spacing between letters and words, and how the letters are connected. Next is margins and format, where we need to particularly look at the width of the margins. And then the content, obviously the grammar, punctuation, word choice, repeated phrases, because by studying the content we will get to know that how much that person is educated or not. We will get an idea about that. Say for example, a person who has done MA in English will not write a letter as a person who has just passed his or her class 8 will write, isn't it? There will be language difference, there will be grammatical difference. So these things are also needed to be looked for. Now there are various technologies that are used in handwriting analysis. So number one will be biometric signature pads, where we can learn to recognize how a person signs. It evaluates speed, pressure, and rhythm of the signature, and it recognizes forgeries by the detection of even slight differences. So, these biometric analyzers or biometric signature pads will help you identify the criminal in a much shorter time, in a much easier way. Okay, because these small differences can be caught in the biometric pads. Okay, whether there is any difference in the speed, any difference in the pressure, in the style, in the rhythm, any minute difference will be get caught. Okay, and the second technique that can be used is computerized analysis, where handwriting samples are objectively compared, and they are compared with samples which are stored in the databases. So obviously database is something very important, and I have already talked about the importance of database in forensic techniques. So by comparing with those databases, the already stored handwriting patterns in those databases, we can also get like caught hold of the suspect or the criminal. Okay, so now evidence in the courtroom, that is something we need to produce. Okay, if you just go on telling that okay, I have done handwriting analysis, that will not help. You have to produce your evidence in the courtroom, isn't it, in front of the lawyers, the investigators. So you can produce evidence in the courtroom in the form of by explaining. If you are the expert, then you will explain how the comparisons were made, and cross examine by the defense attorney, which can also happen. Shortcomings in analysis, like are the best documents real or fake? Did mood, age, fatigue impact the handwriting? Did experts miss any kind of details? So these are some of the questions that you may face in the courtroom when you produce your handwriting analysis. Okay. Now there are some class and individual characteristics as far as handwriting analysis is concerned, like relative size, spacing, amount of space between letters and words, alignment, positioning of letters with respect to an imaginary line, and the slant. So see, I have just given images. So this is just a small lettered T. So see, the various findings can be found from this T only, isn't it? That the alignment is not straight. It is to some extent, upward towards the right side. Okay, then the this line of T is not a straight line, it is again tilted towards the left to some extent. So these are some of the findings that we can find out talking about class and individual characteristics of handwriting. And also in this image we can see what kind of ink is used. Ballpoint ink over fold is used. So this is also a part of handwriting analysis, finding out what kind of ink, what kind of pen was used to write the handwriting. Okay, now there are some shading also which we can analyze as a part of handwriting analysis. So shading में क्या क्या आएगा? Pen pressure, movement, pen position that means as in with respect to the surface के respect में what is the pen point? Is it एकदम perpendicular or is it a bit slanted, like that? Okay, Then the skills, the arrangement means the margins, line quality, quality of the stroke, the rhythm, that is the finger movement, hand or body movement. Okay, these are the minute details which needs to be taken care of, which needs to be captured as a part of handwriting analysis. Okay, now talking about the different types of pencils that can be used. Okay, so not necessarily that the handwriting will be by pen only, it can be by a pencil also. So talking about pencil, there can be different grades of pencil which can be used, which is related to the hardness of graphite. We all know that the tip of the pencil is made up of graphite. So here we have 3 points that we need to remember. H for hardness, B for blackness, and F for fine point. So this is basically a shade scale that I've given. Many of us must already know we used to use pencils only which when we were younger in the schools, isn't it? So HB is there, HB extra dark was there, HB medium dark was there. So these are the different shades of the pencils. Now coming to inks. Okay, now inks can again be of various types or various materials, like they can be simple solvents, they can be pigments, they can be dyes. Okay, dyes are usually, made from different plants, plant leaves. Squid inks can be there, burnt bones can also be used to make inks, and also tar. Then they can be made up of resins, they can be made up of lubricants, they can be made up of stabilizers, they can be made up of fluorescers, they can be made up of any particulate matter, as well as any surfactant. Okay, now what are the most common black inks that are used? Okay, so firstly, what we have is called carbon inks, and then we have the iron gall nut inks. Okay, so carbon inks may what are the inks that will come? Soot and binding agents, as well as smudges. And under iron gall nut inks, we have like these inks will be corrosive to paper. They will be unstable and they fades to brown and they makes the paper brittle. So these are, so iron gall nut inks are not that much preferable as far as inks are concerned, or black inks are concerned. Okay, so the preferable one will be the carbon inks, but they are also not that much preferable or that much suitable because they will be smudging, they will be causing smudges. Okay, I hope you all know what is smudging. We use those kajals nowadays which are smudge free. Means that means even if water or any kind of moisture, any kind of fluid is there, the ink will not smudge, it will not be smashed, it will remain intact. That means smudge free. But the carbon ink is not like that, and moreover talking about the iron gall nut inks, it will be unstable, and dhire dhire after a point of time it will be fading to brown, and also it will be making the paper brittle. So whatever paper we are using, if we use the iron gall nut ink, it will also damage the quality of the paper. Okay, brittle means the paper will easily torn apart then. Okay, okay, now coming to papers. So these inks, papers, pencil shade, these are all parts of handwriting analysis. Whenever we are talking about handwriting analysis, we need to talk about these factors also. Okay, so papers will be water papers. They are matte of roughed up fibers, and those fibers are also known as rag fibers. They can either be of cotton or linen, or they can be wood fibers also. So from wood also we can get paper, from cotton also we can get paper, from linen also we can get paper. They will be known as rag fibers. Okay, now when we are talking about paper analysis, how will we perform paper analysis? So the first thing that we need to calculate or need to analyze is the grade in weight. So it will involve the tissue first of all. If it's low weight, then its weight will come around less than 40 gram per meter square. Then the paper, if it's medium weight, that means it's between the range of 40 to 120 gram per meter square. Then comes the paper board. Paper board is medium high weight if the range is between 120 to 200 gram per meter square. Then comes the board. If high weight, that means it's in the range of more than 200 gram per meter square. Second thing that we need to analyze is colors. So if it's brown, that means it's unbleached. If it's white, that means it's bleached. Bleached means basically bleaching is the process of removal of color, removal of the original color. When we dye our hair in the parlors also, or color our hair in the parlors, what is done, the first step that is done is bleaching. So why it's done? It's done to remove the original color of the hair, so that whatever next color we put in, it quickly takes in or absorbs that color. Okay. So white means basically it's bleached. Colored means it can be bleached or it can be dyed or pigmented. Third thing that we need to analyze as a part of paper analysis will be the usage. So the usage can be industrial. In that case, it will be either packaging or wrapping or filtering or electrical. Second, it can be cultural use like writing, printing, newspaper or currency. Thirdly, it can be used for food. Food what? Food like in the food industry, like food wrapping, candy wrapping, coffee filter, tea bag, etc. Fourth factor that we need to analyze will be the raw material. What kind of raw material is used to make that paper? So there what will come, what are the factors that will come? Wood, first and foremost, obviously, because it contains fibers from wood. Second will be agricultural residues like fibers from straw, grass or other annual plants. Third will be recycling like recycle or secondary fiber. Okay, next factor that we need to consider will be surface treatment. Okay, in surface treatment, what will be the important factors? Number one, coated. So there we need to see whether it is coated with clay or any other mineral. Second will be uncoated. Uncoated means obviously we need not do any other observation. That means it has no coating, no clay or no other material. Third will be laminated. Laminated में क्या क्या आएगा? It can be laminated by aluminium or any other polyester kind of material. Okay. Last factor that we need to see is the finish. Okay, what is the finishing of the paper? Because finishing means the ultimate nature, the ultimate standard or quality of the paper. So that is again something that we need to analyze, because from that we will be able to know the condition of the criminal, particularly the financial condition, or maybe from where the criminal belongs to, what kind of region the criminal belongs to. These are some of the findings that we can be uh, you know getting out of analyzing the finish of the paper. Okay, so whether it's fine or coarse, whether it's machine finished or machine glazed, they are abbreviated as MF and MG respectively. Whether it is glazed or glossed. Okay, glossy papers are there, some papers are there, butter paper. Okay, some raw coarse papers are there, some very silky smooth finishing touch papers are there. So that is the finishing of a paper which we need to study or analyze. Okay, and again something very important will be the analysis of the watermarks. Okay, particularly in those cases, say for example some person has forged a prescription, doctor's prescription. So doctor's prescription, say, or see bill, okay, bills of shopping malls, bank, demand drafts, bank checks. So these are some papers where obviously some kind of watermark will be there. Okay, because these are papers which are having some kind of patent. Say SBI's check will obviously not be the same as BOB, Bank of Baroda's check, isn't it? So they will vary, they will be having their own watermark. So watermark analysis will also be a very important part of paper analysis. Okay, because it can tell the age of the document. Say for example someone has forged a currency note, maybe that currency note was like in the market 20 years earlier. So how will we understand ki whether it's of now or 20 years back? By seeing the watermark, isn't it? So obviously it will be able to tell us the age of the document, and it will also be able to tell us the manufacturer and location of storage store selling paper. Means from where that person has actually obtained that paper. That also will we will be able to know by studying the watermark. Object to displace pulp during sheet formation, and the area of paper thinner. These are also some of the factors which I have just given a nice example of a watermark 1989. So see, from the watermark only we can understand that this document belonged to 1989, isn't it? So these are some of the important factors as far as document examination is considered, particularly handwriting analysis is considered. Okay, I think in the next session I will be talking about mainly about forgery. okay, the like counterfeit, forgery, and all those important aspects. Okay, so till then, thank you and goodbye. Please like, share, and subscribe ITLS Academy. Stay tuned, we will be soon coming over with the next session. Thank you.